Yes, sir. Welcome back to NATOR'S Game Picks, ladies and gentlemen. Week 15 is in front of us. All the buys are over. Quick recap from last week, week 14. 7 games right, 6 games wrong. Of the 6 wrong, my upset alert missed it by 1 point. Though the Lions won by 3. I had the Packers winning by 1. Lost that one. Also lost the Titans against the Jaguars. That was a low-scoring game. The Cardinals Seahawks had that game wrong. There was the Buccaneers against the Raiders. Had I taken they finished 28-13. I had 35-20, so one more touchdown for each, and that would have been a recap video right there. I got the Rams and Bills. I had the Bills winning. The Rams beat them. I had the Bears beating the Niners. The Niners walloped them. And the Cowboys beating the Bengals, but the Bengals beat the Cowboys. So 6 games wrong. That brings my overall to 138-70. Missed that 140 by 2 games. Week 15 has no bye weeks for week 15. So it's going to be 16 matchups. Let's go ahead and take a look at them for this upcoming week. All right, here we go, guys. So postseason. This is make or break for teams on the fringe of making the postseason and the teams that are going to be missing it. And there's the good teams. We already have established who the best teams are, and they're just getting healthy, solidifying their position, and just getting ready for a run in the postseason. We're going to start off with 2 competitors who are both looking to claw themselves in. Thursday Night Football between the Rams and the 49ers. 49ers hosting here. The Rams beat them earlier in the year, early in the week, early in the year. So this is the second matchup. I think Nick Bosa is the one questionable for the 49ers defense. Obviously, Drake Greenlaw still hasn't come back with an ACL and Tolona Hufanga. But this defense played a lot better last week against the Bears team at home, a game they needed to kind of like get their frustration out. They were probably way more frustrated than the Bears were because they got beat by Buffalo bad and Green Bay in the previous 2 weeks. Should have seen that coming from last week's prediction. But the Niners at home here, I think they have a good chance. Brock Purdy played good too. But this Rams defense, I think, is a coming of age, full of good young draft picks and not many, and deep in the rounds as well. Jared Verse is their first round pick, and he's going to be putting pressure on Brock Purdy most definitely. I think he's going to be coming off that edge. Brandon Fisk had a splash play. Their secondary is playing well. A rookie safety who has like 4 or 5 interceptions, like Kinchins. So good matchups here. And Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, when healthy, are as dynamic as any duo in this whole league. Even more so dynamic than Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, I would say, in terms of experience and savvy. You have a Super Bowl champion in Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford. Don't let Puka Nacua get into the postseason and go get one-on-one coverage. So that's why I think I have the Rams beating the Niners here on Thursday Night Football, bringing their Week 18 showdown against the Seahawks, a win-or-go-home situation for the Seahawks and the Rams, as they still have to play each other one more time. But I think the Rams beat the Niners at home, the Niners home, 27-24. Now we're on to the Sunday slate games, starting at the Cowboys taking a trip to Carolina. They played the Carolina Panthers here last year. Bryce Young seems to be playing a lot better. This is the team that made a weird trade before the deadline. The Cowboys traded the 4th round pick to the Panthers in exchange for Jonathan Mingo. Now, if Mingo gets at least 5 targets this game, I'll be happy as a fan. But if he gets less than that and is a non-factor, I think this has been that trade has been catastrophic, and the front office cost the Cowboys a 4th round pick. That's a whole other discussion in and of itself. But I think the Panthers, with this rush attack, Chuba Hubbard, Cowboys coming off a devastating loss, injury to their young linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. It's our young linebacker, their young linebacker, a very great player indeed for a young player for a team that definitely needs it now. That definitely needs him. So this is going to be a tough one. I think in order to match up with the Panthers' rush attack, they've been playing more competitive. I think the Cowboys on the road here play more better on the road than at home. So I do like their odds there. If this Panthers defense can generate pressure, I can see them potentially beating the Cowboys here. And I do have them winning by a score of 28-25 at home. They've been close in the last couple of weeks against good teams. I think this is a team, if they commit less penalties than the Cowboys, whereas I think the Cowboys can win if they commit fewer penalties than the Panthers. But if the Panthers can do that, I think they win 28-25. Moving on, we have the Chiefs at the Browns. Kadarius Toney was catching a punt return for the Browns. Another in a way, a revenge game, you can say. So he's going to be playing against his former team. I'm not so sure if he's on the roster still or if he's going to start the catch punts for him. But either way, you got Jameis Winston against this Chiefs defense who struggled a little bit lately. But Jameis Winston has turned the ball over consistently. Jerry Jeudy has been on a tear. But against this Jets, he may have some opportunity against the Chiefs defense. But I think the Chiefs make enough plays in the end and come away with the win here in Cleveland. I think they win with a score of 23-17. Moving on, Dolphins at the Texans. Texans coming off their bye week. Dolphins winning a division game, and then they're playing a Houston team. I think this game is going to be pretty close. I think they match up well. This is going to be a Dolphins pass rush that going after a quarterback that's been their offensive line has given up a lot of pressure. So that's going to be the key matchup to see. The ingredient for Houston will be to have Joe Mixon touch the ball 25 plus times, and they control the clock in order to help out their quarterback. I think they do that here. I think it's going to go to overtime. I think they win 33-30 in overtime against the Dolphins at home. The Jets at the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars at home against the Jets team. Both teams have won 3 games. The Jaguars beat Tennessee last week 10-6. The Jets lost the game in which they looked like they could win themselves against the Dolphins. I think the Jets come out on top here because they have more experienced weapons on offense. The Jaguars don't even have their starting quarterback. Their defense has given up a lot of points, a lot of yards, and they have some exciting players on offense. But if your quarterback is incapable of getting the playmakers the ball, then it becomes an ineffective offense. I think the Jets have somewhat more effectiveness in that regard. So I think they beat the Jaguars here 27-23 in Jacksonville. Now moving on, Commanders at the Saints. Saints hosting the Commanders here. Commanders coming off a bye week. Much needed win. They were a little banged up. They're getting healthy now. Defensive players, Frankie Louvu, and Jonathan Allen was lost for the year for them, an interior lineman. So now it's Deron Payne, and they have a couple more guys on the edge. But against the Saints team that's also facing a lot of injury, I think Derek Carr went out with a concussion. They lost Taysom Hill last week against the Rams, as he was the one was a big boost when he came back healthy. I think there's much overcome for the Saints. Other than Alvin Kamara, they don't have a Chris Olave healthy to even threaten defenses down deep. So I think the Commanders take advantage of that. I can see them feeding their playmakers and spreading the ball around nicely. I think the Commanders beat the Saints here 25-13 in the Dome. Moving on, we got the Ravens at the Giants. This is the only other team other than now newly the Philadelphia Eagles to ever beat Lamar Jackson, as he's been a starter for the Ravens, as he only lost 2 career games to NFC opponents, Giants and Eagles being the 2. This is a game the Giants are hosting. I think the Ravens, coming off a bye, is looking to take care of business here. They don't want to fall too far behind the AFC North, as the Steelers are looking. They have to play the Steelers again, and they right now have the division lead by a game and a half over the Ravens. So the Ravens need to get this win, a little bounce back win before they play Pittsburgh again here soon. So I think they do that in New York. I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense, along with Derrick Henry, get back on the positive end here. I think they win with a score of 31-16 over the Giants. Bengals at the Titans. The Titans hosting the Bengals here, coming off of a much needed win after losing a lot of games in a row. Close win. They play a lot of close games. I think they can match up against this Titans rush attack. They're gonna have to stop the run, and Tony Pollard, as he's carved himself up a nice year on the ground. But Tennessee doesn't push the ball enough downfield, and I don't see them. I see the Bengals getting pressure on the young quarterback. I think the Bengals win here on the road, 30-20. Moving on, we got the Colts at the Broncos, or the Patriots at the Cardinals. This is the 4:05 slate of games, so the noon games are done. Patriots at Cardinals. Cardinals at home need a win to keep up in the NFC West, as you're currently competing with the Rams and the Seahawks. And they lost the Seahawks last week. They still have to play the Rams. So this is a game that they can change their fortunes. But they do have to take care of business here against the Patriots team coming off a bye, but only have 3 wins on the year. I think they win with a score of 24-20, but they need to be careful, as this Patriots team has been competitive in the previous 5 to 6 weeks. Colts at the Broncos. Broncos hosting the Colts. Young team, very young team, young quarterback. They came off of a bye as well. They had a 2-point conversion win 2 weeks ago. So the Colts are a team that's going to be competitive, but against the Broncos team with a young quarterback, they're looking to make a push for the playoffs, as they want to beat out the Chargers in the AFC West to get a seeding in the playoffs. But I think a home here against the Colts may come out and surprise some people, and even the Broncos come out and smack them in the mouth first. If the Broncos more turnovers than the Colts, and I think the Colts win this game. I think they can win here of a score of 27-19 on the road in Denver. I know, girl. It's okay. It's okay. Moving on, we got the Bills at the Lions. Obviously, this will be the game of the week. To the most people considered best teams from each conference entering this week. The Lions at home, they definitely may have learned something from watching the Rams put up all those points against the Bills last week. I think they're going to attack them through the air, on the ground, all types of ways. So I think this Lions-Bills game is going to be exciting. I think the Lions make a little bit more plays on Josh Allen than the Bills are able to make plays on Jared Goff. Or it could be flipped around. But I think it's going to be close. I think the Lions win here with a score of 41-35. Look out for this game. Is going to be a high-scoring point for sure. Buccaneers at the Chargers. The Bucs on the road. A Chargers team also needs to be in the race for the AFC West spot, a playoff spot. I think the Buccaneers, seeing the Falcons spiral out of control, they're going to try to take that lead in the South as they play one more division game before the year ends against the Saints, a game they can win. So they want to win every game they can against the Chargers team on the road. I think the Buccaneers rally well against their quarterback, and getting Mike Evans back off injury is very huge for them. I see the Bucs winning here again, LA 34-28. Steelers at Eagles. Another two matchups between, honestly, you can argue these are just as good teams as the Lions and the Bills. One representing the NFC and the other representing the AFC. Got a lot of veterans on this team, well-coached teams. This is going to be fun to watch. Battle of Pennsylvania, as these two teams only play each other every 4 years, unless it's sets up on the schedule different. I think the Eagles at home have a good chance. I think Jalen Hurts will run the ball when he has to. He needs to flush out the pocket and needs to find open receivers. I think he'll take care of the ball. I think the Steelers do the same, but I think their deep shots and attempts to the end zone may not connect as much against this Eagles secondary, who I think are a top 3 unit pass defense in this entire league. And George Pickens didn't play last week, so look for him to match up against this secondary if he plays. Otherwise, it could be hard for the Steelers to get their weapons going against this team. But I think the Steelers defense are able to contain the Eagles offense. I need to see the Eagles offense making no mistakes here at home and coming out with the win in the end. I think they beat the Steelers here, the battle for Pennsylvania, 20-17 at home, as the Eagles are home. The Packers at the Seahawks, Sunday Night Football here. Seahawks are the hottest team in the NFC West, I would argue, alongside the Rams. They play the Rams in Week 18. That's their next and only remaining divisional game, division game. The Packers, coming off of a loss against the Lions team, they felt like they should have beat. And I think they're going to come in here and play with that same attitude and mentality, run the ball at this Seahawks defense. But Mike McDonald and this defensive mind scheme has actually been showing results on this young defense, and they've been looking a lot better in the last couple of weeks. I think the key matchup here is going to be the Seahawks receivers against the Packers secondary. If they can win those matchups, I think the Seahawks have a chance to win. I'm sure Zach Charbonnet will start again over Kenneth Walker. If Kenneth Walker's not back healthy, they'll probably look to that same game plan. Tyler Lockett hasn't caught hardly any of his targets in the last couple of games as I've seen. So it's going to be mostly on Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf needs to make most of his targets thrown to him, as there were some drop passes and passes batted there towards him. So I think the Seahawks can win here, but I do think the Packers maybe in the end goes for 2 and they get the upset, or they get the road win here on Sunday Night Football. I think they win on a score of 32-31 at Lumen Field. Monday Night Football, there's a doubleheader. We have the Bears at the Vikings. The Vikings are at home, still only lost 1 game, tied with the lead with the Lions in the NFC North. So a very stacked division. I think they take care of business against the Bears team, who's gonna struggle into the end of the season, probably have a top 12 draft pick. I think the Vikings take care of business here and beat a team which a promising young quarterback, and the play calling has been a lot better, but obviously a lot to figure out there. They need to figure out what they want to do with Keenan Allen when the season ends too, as Roma Odunze caught 2 touchdowns against the Niners, so he's coming into his own. That's probably a better investment now. But I think the Vikings take care of business here, as they have too many weapons for the Bears to stop on offense. Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and Sam Darnold's playing at an MVP level. I think they win here with a score of 35-24. The Vikings do at home. Falcons at the Raiders. This will be my upset alert of the week. The upset alert of the week. I think the Raiders beat the Falcons. I think the Falcons have lost 4 straight. Almost done that, girl. They've lost 4 straight. This could be their 5th, and I think it might be time to sit down Kirk Cousins and look at their young rookie, as they'll probably finish with a top 15 to 18 pick, and they can get some defensive help, as this pass rush has struggled against the Raiders team. I think they can make some plays. They were close to beating the Chiefs. Why not beat the Falcons here at home? I think they get the upset alert of the weekend, gets the win here at home, 24-17 over the Falcons. Week 15, I hope I get, I hope I get at least 12 games right for week 15, as that'll put me at 150 games corrected for the week. So we'll see how that goes. There's 16 matchups. First one tomorrow on Thursday night, Rams at the 49ers. Tune in for that, and then got a lot of good games, interesting games lined up this week for you. It's getting close to Christmas. Merry Christmas. God jul, happy holidays, and I'll catch you guys soon on the next one. NATOR'S out.